Welcome to the Why Not podcast with me, Chrissy Hawkins. In a world where everybody asks you why, I'm here to ask why not. So sit back and relax or walk and listen and join me on this journey as we try to answer this never-ending question: what makes people say, why not? Hi guys, welcome back to Why Not. So we have a celebrity in our midst. We have a host of the Grassroots Rider Academy and community manager of the Grassroots Gazette. So today I am joined by Gary Monahan. You will have seen him all over your screens if you've watched the Rider Academy. But today we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like being an amateur equestrian and having a job and having a family and the mindset that's needed to help yourself improve and a load of other different things. I hope you guys enjoy. Hi guys, welcome back to Why Not. So today I am joined by a little bit of a celebrity. You may recognize him from the Grassroots Gazette podcast and also the main host, we'll say, of the Grassroots Rider Academy. So I want to welcome you to the podcast. Gary, how are you?
Hey Chrissy, that was some introduction. Don't know where you pulled that one from, but sure, I'll go with it anyway. You know me, I wouldn't be one for shying away from them things.
Sure, we have to be nice to you sometimes, don't we?
Every now and again, it's nice.
All right, so Gary, can you tell everybody listening to the podcast who you are and what you do?
So Gary Monahan, I am the community manager with the Grassroots Gazette. I host the Grassroots Gazette podcast, and I was lucky enough to be involved in the Grassroots Rider Academy season 1. So yeah, do a lot of things with a lot of different hats.
Yeah. So first off, do you want to explain what the Grassroots Gazette is?
Yeah, well, how to best describe the Grassroots Gazette? Every time somebody asks me a question, it's always a different answer at times. I'd find it's an online based platform that was here, based in Ireland, starting off, that has now gone global. That we want to celebrate and promote grassroots riders right across from every level, from every discipline. It's something that hasn't been done before, and I think there's been a big gap where amateurs and grassroots riders have been forgotten about in the equine world. We, for me, we're the backbone of the equine world. Without amateurs and grassroots riders, you don't have your top end professionals, because who pays their wages, who goes to them for clinics or lessons and watches them, or pays for subscriptions to watch their shows and things like that. So I think there was a big market there for it, and I think with Shane and Mike, what they've seen that gap in the market and seen something, and they've just kind of exploded within 2 years. So yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, I think the massive growth kind of does show how much it was needed. And you're the community manager. So what does that entail?
Well, when I first kind of got asked to do it with Shane and Mike, it was the whole thing of maybe bridging the gap of, with being in and around out competing at the time and being an amateur myself, was that you could maybe bring more people in and champion them. And then it was, it kind of evolved after that into how can we give the community that little bit more of a voice. And when I spoke to Shane and Mike, I always said that like I wanted to build a community of in the equine world, something that you take a look at. We say GAA here in Ireland. You look at any GAA club, there's always a massive community behind them. That's what's made it survive and made it so unique. You don't get it in any other sport as such. You don't see it in soccer and and rugby. You might see a little bit of it in that, but what I loved about that is you have people that are involved in the club. Even when your kids have gone and left the club, they're still involved and they're still doing things for the club because it's a sense of community and sense of pride. And I think we have that in the equine world. You look at it, between volunteers at shows, you've people doing dressage, scribes, or judges or call-ups at shows, at showing classes. And they mightn't have kids horse riding, or they mightn't even horse ride themselves, but just love to be involved in the equine world. And I think that, to me, was something I wanted to bring to it. And it's something very exciting to see the behind the scenes and what I call the unsung heroes of the equine world to do. Without all these amazing people, none of our shows go on. And that's not just the top end shows. You're talking every show, you need volunteers, you need all these people behind the scenes. So that's what I kind of came in with the viewpoint to do, and trying to build that community. And we're on a journey of doing it, and I think we're having a good journey, and it's a good time.
Yeah, no, that's great. So take it back to the start. How did you actually get involved with the grassroots initially?
Had seen something on Instagram one time that popped up. Shane being the marketing guru that he was, or is that he was, that he is. I just came up on my phone. I kind of seen it, and I was looking at it. I was going, "Geez, this looks something really interesting, really fun," and I was really kind of hit a bone with myself that, there is that gap for people. And then I had gone to Sarah Albert for a couple of lessons, and I chatted to her before, like about over Instagram and stuff like that. Like, and she always had an amazing way of explaining things. And I just had she was just a great viewpoint on horses and, people within the equine world. And I sent her a message one day going, "Here, this would be right up your street. I think you should apply to be a writer." And she was like, "Oh, I'm so flattered. I didn't think, I'd ever do something like that." I said, "Look, it'd be well worth it. Do it." So she did, and she's gone on to be, a co-founder in Equitas. But she wrote some amazing articles at the very start of the Grassroots Gazette, and then you've seen the lads who are doing the lives, and most evenings I'm out in the yard and I'm doing the horse on my own. There's no one in the yard, and I was sticking on the lives on my phone and just playing it through a speaker or my earphones, listening in, going, and you're listening to people like myself that are, that are amateurs, and they're just doing it for the love of their horses, and kind of resonated with me. And then I engaged in a couple of lives, something that I've never really done before, and asked a couple of questions, and then it just kind of snowballed from there to being convinced to go onto a live myself. To took a bit of talking to do, and when I watch back my live once or twice before, you can see that how nervous I am, how I bob and sway the whole way through it, and yeah, to finally grown into the role I have now at the Gazette, which is it's kind of a bit of a special journey, a long-winded answer, but a bit of a
Yeah.
journey.
It's interesting how you were saying how you like suggested it out to Sarah Elliver and she's now co-founder of Equitas, but you're also now in the management team.
Yeah, it's mad how it just kind of came about, like, and you can see it kind of just evolve. And when you get like-minded people that have the same kind of vision and want to do the same things, I think that's what happened, and that's how it all kind of just evolved there. And we're getting the leadership from Shane. Like, he's, he can do nothing but inspire you, and he's inspired a lot of us, within the Grassroots Gazette and Equitas. So it's easy enough to follow then.
Yeah. And how important was it to you to like be watching those lives or even just listening along, like having something like that that you could listen to when you were doing the yard?
Yeah, I just thought they were amazing. I think it was a great concept. I know we haven't done a whole lot of lives in the last little while in the Grassroots Gazette, but we will start bringing them back and doing a little bit more. They were amazing because you're seeing people like me talking about their day to day and how they balance everything, or how they struggle with stuff, or how they how they fit everything in. And then they had some professionals on as well that were giving tips and tricks and things like that. And sometimes they're not that most accessible people, and at times they're so busy, they're riding probably 15 to 20 horses a day, so like they don't really have time to be, doing videos or YouTubing and things like that. Whereas the Gazette was giving that little bit of an avenue for us to see them, and I think it was good for them and it's good for us as well. So yeah, and you got inspired listening to people. I always remember, Ian, there's a couple of ones that kind of resonate back for me. And it'd kill me to mention them, but I remember always watching into Brendan Murphy one time, and I was, listening to how he was balancing all things, and I was like, Jesus, yeah, he's just a real horse person. And he just, he's doing this. Yes, he was professional at doing it. He was running his yard and he was breeding and things like that. It was just a pure love of the horse and how he spoke. And I was like, I was kind of sucked in, like, and can we edit that bit out? But we definitely have to edit that bit out. I cannot compliment him. So yeah, no, it was, and you kind of listen to all the people, like, so yeah, I really love the lives, and so I can't wait to we get them back going again.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the lives, but like you've continued on with the podcast as well. So again, you have that element and it's like that, you can just pop it on while you're doing the yard. I've learned so much from the podcast alone, like, some of the people you've had on, because you can't always make the lives and, leaving your phone on with Instagram is really difficult, but putting Spotify on. So it is interesting, but you still have that avenue.
Yeah, no, the podcast was something that kind of I felt was a gap for us as well. And that, we were doing our lives, and as you said, a lot of people couldn't watch in, and then sometimes people don't really watch them back. They might watch back a little bit of it, but then I find, so I love a podcast. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music now. So,
Same.
you know, whether it's out in the yard, commuting to work, you're listening to podcasts. And I was a bit of a gap in the market. Can we highlight some grassroots riders? Can we highlight some amateurs? But also, can we bring in some professionals to give us some tips and tricks? And I think it's kind of worked out well for us, and it's a bit of balance to it. And yeah, I kind of really enjoy it. It's great fun. And hopefully we can grow it and make it as big as this podcast.
There's a lot of competition here. I think
Yeah.
I think I do average on about 15 listens per episode. So
Yeah, but you're inspiring them 15 people.
yeah, no, I'm only
You know.
messing. Like I enjoy doing it and I enjoy the stuff, and it's selfishly I learn a lot from the podcast too, so it's also very helpful.
Yeah, here I'm the same. I'm the very same. I not too long ago I was sitting chatting to Casey Webb on the podcasts. Casey was one of the riders in the Grassroots Rider Academy, is one of the professionals that came down for Equine, and I'm there and I'm literally picking her brains for my issues that I have with my horse, and I'm like, how cool is that I get to do this, and people can't give out to you for doing it.
Yeah, it's because they want to know too.
Yeah.
So, like you've done obviously in the last 2 years, you've done a lot. You've like become podcast host, you host in the Rider Academy. What was it like the first time you got asked for a live to do a live? How did you feel?
Oh, nerves. Nerves. I sweated buckets. I can still remember it. And I could still remember the t-shirt taking it off afterwards and the sweat just dripping down the back of me because I've never done anything like this. It's not me. And I know you know me like from behind it all, the Grassroots Gazette, and I'm probably the biggest messer of the group. I'm always taking the piddle out of people and that. And I'd be quite a bubbly and outgoing person, but put the camera in front of me, I just hid or I'd hide. I wasn't one for photos and things like that. So yeah, it was a nerve wracking hour. I think it was. It felt like about 7 hours.
Now look to you presenting TV shows and everything. Millions of
Yeah, look,
views.
yeah, it's amazing, but it just shows when you get the people around you, like and that's one of the things with the Rider Academy. It was the group of people we have and everybody around us. Like you felt that support, that you didn't feel exposed and you didn't feel that you were on your own in this. And I think that was the big thing, and that's why I was happy enough to go ahead and do it and do it. I think we all have done an amazing job at it. When you look back on it, like there's 3 point something million views on your very first series. Like it's not it's not something to be laughed at. When you see it and you break it down to that number, like.
Yeah, and yeah, it does. It really, you really do see that, and you're like, wow, like we did that. And how does that feel, like knowing that you were a big part of that?
Yeah, it's special. It's surreal. And I said it so many times. I'm just immensely proud of being involved and proud of everybody and what they done, the work ethic that everybody had. And like we had so many long days, long meetings, master schedules, sub schedules, schedule a bit of schedule with all these
Micromaster
things.
schedule, that was one, wasn't it?
That was one big thing. And like we had so many people doing this for the first time. So many people never had done anything like this. And we all came together and we all had an end goal and we all wanted to achieve something. And I know, Shane had said about, he'd love to get X amount of views, and he'd set it out that he wanted to get over 1 million views. I had a little side bet with him when I pitched the whole idea of the Grassroots Rider Academy to him, and I said, if we don't get 2 million views from this, I will do blah blah blah. That was the bet. Now I'm not revealing what the rest of it was, but we had that bet, and luckily I didn't have to do it. So yeah, I was proven right for once.
Good.
Yeah.
You're on to something with it though as well. Like, so you were the person who came up with the idea of the Rider Academy.
Yeah, I said it was something I felt there was a gap again. And I know I keep mentioning that there's gaps in the market or there's a timings and things like that, but there definitely was. And for me, and when you look at it from where I've came from, like, it's about 2 years ago since I've done my first live in around now, 2 years ago to now, like I'm say recording podcasts and being asked to go on podcasts and things like that. Like I always struggled with the fear of not being good enough, or always questioning yourself as, can you do these things? And then, you see as you evolve and you get that little bit more kind of support around you, a bit of training around you, how you can grow as a person, and how, you can see that. And then I said to myself, if we could bring this to amateurs or grassroots riders, and let them have support and let them feel that people have got their back and we're going to put all this investment into you. Can they achieve a goal or a dream? Because 9 times out of 10, and it's something we all struggle with, I think, is our mindset. And that's where the concept of the show came from, was, can we reset five riders' mindsets to go achieve something? It came from a conversation I had with Joseph Murphy, and you know yourself how inspiring he was down at the Rider Academy. It was amazing. Like
Mind
you'd listen,
blown watching his.
yeah, you'd watch him for hours. And that's the thing with you, just you'd watch and listen to him for hours. And I was lucky enough, I was staying over in his house one time, as say his house. He has little kind of cottages up there that you can rent if anybody else
Okay,
wants to
Gary, we
go.
get it. You're friends with Joseph Murphy. You hung out with him.
Yeah, no, I'm just, yeah. But anyway, I was up there and we were hanging out and we're sitting having a chat one of the nights, and I was just asking. It was in around the time of the last Olympics, and for me, personally, and it wasn't the thing that just because I had gone to him for coaching or known him, things like that, I felt he deserved to go to the Olympics. And I thought he had put himself in the best position possible. I think he had worked so hard. You could see the effort, and you could see how he changed his style and how he pushed himself that little bit more. I felt he deserved to go to the Olympics. That's only personal opinion. That's just me how it was. But unfortunately, he didn't make the Olympics. And I'm sitting and talking to him, and the Olympics had just been over. And I asked him, I go, like, how do you pick yourself up from that, being so close to what you've trained for 4 years to go to? And go to the Olympics, and then you got to so far and didn't get. How do you get back from it? And it was so kind of a light bulb moment for me to go, that's what the difference is, and that's why there's amateurs and professionals. And he was like, yeah, them Olympics are gone. I don't think about it now. They're past me. But I'll tell you one thing, I won't be not on the plane for the next one. I will put myself in the position that they have to bring me to the Olympics because I will be the best. And I was like, wow, like, and it's just, and that for me, that's where the concept of the Rider Academy came from. Was it's a mindset thing, and that's what sets the elites from us. They can take a knockback and they can take defeat, but it doesn't stop them. It keeps them going. Whereas amateurs, when we get a knockback and we get defeats, we hold on to them for too long, and that's what stops us from achieving some of our dreams and our goals as amateurs. So that's where it came from.
Yeah. Why do you think amateurs are so hard on themselves?
I think we have, especially with equestrians, you have a lot of kind of outside influences, and you know yourself. At the minute you say to somebody, "Oh, you have anything to do with horses or anything like that," the first thing they go, "Oh, you have loads of money." And 9 times out of 10, it's not that. It's we sacrifice a lot to do what we do. So you have that pressure then. You go, what they think and these are all subconscious things that we all do. And I don't think we actually really break it down what we work it like. So we have that subconscious thought in our mind. Then you are going out and you're maybe are competing in classes where people will have a lot more expendable money than you would have, and you're going to try to compete on their level. Yeah, they can go get coaching every second day if they want to, whereas you might be once a month and once every 6 months. It all depends on your circumstances. So you have that to play in your mind. Then you have the whole thing of you're trying to build this bond with your horse, or if you have horses, and what way it kind of works out for you, whether it it is a thing that you can achieve the goals together and you come together, and sometimes it doesn't work, and then you kind of you'll always doubt yourself before you'll doubt your horse. And I think that plays into it. So it all comes into a big cauldron and mixes around, and that's why it gives us all these height of emotions and stuff like that. And look, at the end of the day, we fail more times than we win with horses. You look at it there, like, and I think that's a big thing. I think it's hard to understand how to fail and keep going. And I think that can play a part in it for us. It's
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because you think about it like as well, we blame ourselves all the time. But the horses are alive as well. They can have off days too. It's not a hurl. I mean, hurls don't have feelings, but the
yeah,
horse
no,
could be having a tired day or a cranky day, but your automatic reaction was, I've done something wrong.
yeah, and straight away, and you straight away you blame yourself. And one thing I know, and I'd say if you ask 80-90% of amateurs out there when they do compete, when it is a good day and something goes right for you, and you might get placed or you have a great show or whatever it is you do and with your horse and you have that really good day, the first thing you turn around and go, he was amazing or she was amazing, she done this and she done that. And you never actually give yourself credit to go, well, oh, actually, I prepared to get to here. I done all this. I done all my prep work. Or sometimes and I say, and I've said it myself, I was lucky enough to have a good result with a horse a couple of years ago where we won a class in a 110, like when I was going, oh yeah, I was, delighted, chuffed with myself and we really good day. But the very next day I turn around to someone and go, I only won by default. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, oh, well, others were crap and I won. And it's just because I was not as crap as them on the day, but they're consistently good. But it was, you're taking away straight away that you'd won a class and you'd done quite well and you'd done what others didn't do. But it took me a while to understand that, to change the kind of way you speak about it and look at it a bit different, that, I set myself up that day and others didn't set themselves up right. And I came out to win because I deserved it. Whereas before I would have thought I was lucky to win.
Yeah. How did you change that?
It's around people, and that's the biggest thing, is changing who you're around, who you listen to, and try to see yourself in a different light. And I say this to Dad the whole time, and it's something that I would go in and out of it the whole time and try to, you're always just trying to aspire to be to the next level or pushing yourself to the next level when you're competing and things like that. But there's always somebody there looking to aspire to where you are in your level. And someone will give the left hand or right arm to be where you are. So you have to look at that and say, well, last week I was here and next week I'm going to go to here. And that was the kind of shift for my own mindset. But it was like the likes of talking to Joseph Murphy and, even the likes of, you've Lucinda Frederickson, her speaking about how she got through, navigated through things and all that. And you're seeing like, well, these people at the top end are using these things. Can I start using these a little bit more and more? I talk a good game here, but like at the end of the day, I still doubt myself more than everybody as well. So yeah, it's just a balance and act of it all.
Yeah, but it's good that you can admit that though as well. Like, it's nice and it's refreshing, like, to hear, I think, like you're saying that, like, it's good to hear someone like Joseph Murphy, like, them say they've had a tough day or whatever, but it's also really, like, really helps to hear people at your own level, like, or people like that, like, people are aspiring to be where you are now, and then hear them go, well, I still doubt myself, and you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I think we have to be honest. And there's something that was said to me before, going, you're a bit too honest in what you show when it goes wrong. And I'm like, I was never a thing of being fearful of showing that side of it, because that's the real side for what I do. And that's, when it goes wrong, and it can go catastrophically wrong for me at times, where I get flung through the air and somebody, usually 9 times out of 10, has a camera when it happens. And like, as good as it is to laugh at it, and you come away touch wood unscathed 95% of the time. But like, you have to be willing to show that side of it, because it's not always going out and looking fantastic, or it goes well and that goes well. Like, yeah, we all can see it. I can turn around and can put a story up on my Instagram or a reel on my Instagram, and I will look like I should be probably riding in the Olympics from snippets of good moments. But then I could also put snippets up going, I look like a person that's only sat in the horse for the first time. So be real about it, like.
Yeah, no, some of those are the best photos as well. Like I remember the first show I ever had with Sam, like it was only a little in-yard show, and of course I fell off. I bought two photos of me falling because I couldn't decide which was funnier. And I'm like, I had the horse like 2, 3 months, and I was like, it's great.
Yeah, like One of my favorite photos I have, and it actually the photographer that took it actually got in touch with me because I didn't know it got taken, and it's from when I was in Flower Hill a couple of years ago. I was riding, my horse got injured, and I borrowed my dad's little horse and flying around thinking I was the grateful end, came into the water too fast, and we went head over heels. But there's an unbelievable photo, and all you can see is the horse's butt is in the air and my two legs are just in behind the fence. It's brilliant. And
I've
my
seen
brother
it. It's
got
fantastic.
my brother got it framed for me. So it's in our attic. As you walk up into our attic, I see it and I see it most days, and it's such a humbling photo. So the gas thing about it is I have that photo straight down in front of you. You see it out anytime I walk up or down into the attic. And then to the right of it, I have the picture of when we won the one star in Torella a couple of years ago. So it's nice to have them two side by side, like,
Yeah. It's good. It literally shows both ends of the
spectrum. Yeah.
yeah.
When you're crap and when you're not so crap.
Yeah, you have to have both.
Yeah, brilliant.
Especially when you've got an animal. What was it? I saw someone described horses as if like oh what was it? Basically like if your sporting equipment could make bad decisions, that's what having a horse is like.
Yeah, 110%. Yeah.
Yep. They always make the bad ones.
Yeah, of course you do. But we wouldn't change it.
No, of course not.
No, you couldn't.
What was it that brought you into horses in the first place?
I was my dad would have rode years and years ago, and he kind of fell back into horse riding through a neighbor of his I think they were just having a bit of cracking maybe with the idea of going for a couple of pints after a horse riding lesson. And I think that's what it was. And
Always
then
points, isn't it?
yes, always pints. Pints always lead to, no good story every starting with a salad. That's what I always say. So he kind of got into it and he was tipping away at it. And I was animal, always wanted animals around the house, cats, dogs, wherever we could, pigeons, if you could feed a pigeon, a wild pigeon or whatever. And that was just me. I always wanted animals around the house. And Dad just kind of brought us out, and he told me he was going to buy me a dog because I really annoyed him for a dog, and he ended up buying me a Shetland pony. And that's where the addiction started.
So you must have been young enough then.
Yeah, I was only probably about 7 or 8, I think it was when I first kind of got into it. And I said a little black Shetland we call Tiny Tim, and I fell off him more times than I actually sat on him. He was the cheekiest little Shetland as they are, and he was, we loved him. He was brilliant. We had him up until he was 33 years of age. Like,
Oh wow, I love that.
yeah, he was great fun.
Uh, and how did so obviously you start with the little Shetland. It also explains why you always pick Shetlands over thoroughbreds.
Yeah.
How did your progression then look through over the years of horse riding? Did you always stick at it, or did you stop? Or
Yeah, I done it right up until I was about, I think, 16. So I would have competed at a good enough level, and I rode a lot of horses for different people, a lot of ponies and that for different people, because mum and dad weren't always in the position to buy a pony for me or buy a pony that was good enough to go out and compete with. I always relied on.
I thought you're horses, so you must have loads of money.
Yeah, we missed that bit. We just jumped that bit in the ladder. So we always kind of, and we've been always the same, like, that we've just, not that we get by, but we just, make it work, whether it be we'll do something rather than paying out a lot of money for it, or we'll try to change something up and do it that way. We've always been that way. And I've always had other people's horses or ponies to bring on. Maybe someone's pony was always a bit cheeky, and oh sure, send it out to Gary. He'll have a bit of fun with it, or it'll try killing one or the other. And we would do that. Like, realistically, I had my Shetland pony, got another pony off friends of mum and dad's that their daughters couldn't ride anymore. Gave it to me, and she turned out to be a little smashing little pony. And they said, "Oh look, you keep her." And then I got a one other pony, and that they were the only ponies I ever owned. Like, where I had maybe 7 or 8 ponies riding at one time. Like, and then I kept going up until about 16, and I took a fairly heavy fall, where I broke all my ribs, cracked my skull, uh, damaged my back, got stitches in my head, and I been drinks and rinse it all. I lost my bottle completely. That's the best way to describe it. I lied for years saying I didn't, and that I just kind of phased away from horses. And that, I went into kind of doing a little bit of, riding out for a race yard for a little while as well, trying to get that bit of steel and that bit of, fearlessness back. Because that's what one thing I always was. I was quite fearless when I was riding as a kid, like, and I would ride on any horse. And then kind of, as I said, I lost my bottle for a good few years. And then we kind of got back into it through my mum and dad would always kept a pony anyway for my sisters and that. So my sister was riding in a charity show, and the person she was riding with was getting off a horse the night before the show and broke her ankle. Just stepped down, hit a stone, and broke her ankle. And sister was short a bit not getting to ride in the show, and they rang me and going, "Oh, would you sit up on the horse like?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, look, yeah, sure, might as well for a bit of crack." And I said I'll go up, and I think it was maybe a 70 or an 80 that we jumped around in the show. I'd never rode that horse before in my life, and I came off the horse and I was addicted again. All of a sudden I was on Dundee the next day looking, can I buy a horse?
So it's just that like one instant just kind of brought everything back.
Yeah, yes, that's what it was. It was like it was everything about what horses was for me. The buzz of competing and the setup, everything just clicked for me. And yeah, it was amazing. Like it was just how it kind of just reignited inside me, and then I just kind of it snowballed. I got into it to I was what my plan was, and what I kind of sold to my wife at the time was I'm just going in and I'm going to hack around, and like not going to really do anything, just hack and just be around horses. And I said like I got a thoroughbred, and I was like, yeah, it'll be a bit of fun and all that. And then yeah, it just snowballed into wanting to compete and try to ride at certain levels and all that. So the competitive edge came back to me fairly quick.
That's brilliant. Do you think I don't know, there's something to me, I feel like there's something different with people who are into horses, other than the fact that they're mental and they sit up on top of an animal that can kill them several different ways. um, but yeah, it's like it never really does leave you, does it?
No, it kind of gets inside you. It gets ingrained inside you, and that's like back like to the point that I made at the start of your podcast is that there's so many people involved in the equine world that maybe don't ride anymore or did ride and things of that like and or never did ride, and just the affiliation to be with horses and just to be around them is what drives people and makes them want to do it. Like so, I think it's always in you when you start young enough that'll always going to be ingrained in you.
Yeah. I remember actually, because I always thought like I'd have Sam and Sam will be the only horse I'll ever have. When he retires, that's it. And then he got injured last year, and I was like, oh, that's it. But I know it's not. But I was already leasing a horse for a bit, and I'm like
Yeah.
trying to figure out now, like now how can I make a load of money because apparently I need to have that now to buy a new one. And
Yeah, they can be quite expensive at times, but but we're a resilient group of people, like equestrians, and we'll always seem to find a way. You might, and you see all these memes going around, like my horse has a designer rug on him that's made 300 quid, and I'm wearing pants or a jacket that have 10 years with holes in them. Like, how the other half live like.
do you think that's a slight detriment to the equestrians that they don't ever really think about themselves?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It can really, really hinder us, at times because it's always about what's better for the horses and what they can make their horses better, and we don't then look after ourselves fully, and I think it's something, it's not just our physical health as well, but like our mental health, we don't we don't really pay enough attention to them things. And we see likes of the hay campaign and how that had affected so many equestrians, like so. Yeah, I think it's something that we don't do enough of.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I can say like it can be one of the most fulfilling sports in the world at times, and you have so many friends, and you have so many people out competing as well. But then you have the competitive edge, and there's a lot of you're an individual a lot of the times. Like I would love to see coming into the amateur circuit, kind of a little bit more team events and building that, whether it be team event that go out eventing and there's a league for a team and, build that kind of camaraderie amongst everybody. So we're 9 times out of 10, you're competing on your own.
Mm.
And then, you're competing against your friend or you're competing against somebody that you don't know. So I think that plays a part in it for us as well, that you're always not, I wouldn't describe it as lonely, but you're always on your own in that way. Most of us go out if we're amateurs and you're going out to a yard and 9 out of 10, there's probably nobody there apart from on the weekends. And you're kind of just doing your own horse things. And, if you are lucky enough to have a friend in the same yard as you, you might organize to get out sometimes together. But I'd say the vast majority of equestrians do it on their own the whole time. So I think that's what causes it. It's that kind of, not loneliness, but kind of separation from people to stop you.
Isolation kind of.
Yeah, the isolation of it all. That's why, like, I would love to see team events coming into it, like, would SJI or Eventing Ireland look at it going like, let's create and I know they're bringing the grassroots leagues and things like that, which is, it's welcome and it's brilliant to see, because at the end of the day, like, the grassroots make up the majority of the competitions now. They're the biggest classes. But is there a way or a format that we can go and maybe, not every week, but maybe do a league that it's competed in maybe once every 3 months or something like that, where it's, let's pick a top venue and we're going to go down, we're going to bring down, let's say we'll have Team Strong in the Saddle. Here we go. Use entry in, four friends come down, all help one another, and you could have a variation of classes and it's graded. And I'd love to see something like that come into it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Jeez, I'm giving away all my ideas.
Oh God, Gary, see, you put you in front of a mic and everything comes out.
Yeah.
Um, why do you think that there hasn't been so much team stuff before?
I honestly don't know. I know, like, with the riding clubs and all that, they do a little bit of it. And anybody that's looking to get back into horses, I think going to riding clubs are a brilliant way of meeting people. There's so many amazing people who are involved in riding clubs. They're going to steer you in the right direction and stuff like that. And they have a kind of a mixture of a bit of everything for everybody, from showing to dressage, show jumping to a little bit of eventing or a small bit of cross country. Like, so it's a great starting block for a lot of people, and it's a great place to stay as well. So I'd like to see that kind of aspect of it grow a little bit more. Maybe maybe that is something that the riding clubs look to do and take on themselves. They're going to create team events more than just once. Let's do it. And look, if they want a hand or want to do something with it, why not reach out to us here at the Grassroots Gazette? And that's what we're all about. We're all about promoting equines, and that's what it is. We have to promote it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's interesting because I used to be in riding club for a long time, and once you get to certain kind of levels of the grades, like it's massively like primary was alright, advanced primary, inter, and then once you started going a little bit higher than that, like it just dropped off. So I think anyone who was involved in that level were probably in SJI. And do you think that kind of like creates a disconnect where, like, you have all these people who are kind of at this lower level and they're all really good, but once you get to that certain level, it becomes more competitive. You're no longer friends, you are enemies.
Yeah, you can have sometimes, that's kind of best way is, that kind of snootiness. So I ride at this level, you know, and that can come into it. I think it comes into all aspects of sport. Like, no matter whether you play, GAA or you play your horses or golf, whatever it is, there's always that little level of some people feeling better than others, or I can do it better than that. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, we all started at one point. We all had to go transition through being that level to get to the level that you're currently at now, but you're still always going to be behind the person ahead of you. So, like, for me, why would you disconnect from that level? Like, because there's no sure thing in life. Horses will ground you back down to that level. If you think you're above your station, they will take you straight back down without a shadow of a doubt. So, like, you can very easily be ending up back down riding a walk trot test, at riding them very quickly. So never never forget them things. That would be my kind of advice to anybody. And I know myself, like, I've contemplated going back to doing riding clubs just to get a bit more experience for my horse, and using it that way and using it as a good tool. Like,
Yeah. That's an interesting way of thinking about it, like, getting it back in and kind of, I suppose in a sense, the riding clubs, well, for me, because I never went outside a riding club, but it feels less pressurized, I think.
Yeah, they're a little bit more fun. I
Mm.
think the more of it, like that amateur vibe around it and all that. But like, what you can see, like Event in Ireland have kind of brought that to the forefront as well with their grassroots leagues. And you can see, last year I got to go out and watch a couple of events. Didn't get to compete myself, but I got out to watch a couple of events, and you can see that little bit of fun aspect. And a lot of people are in it together. And that I was really, really drawn to eventing because, I'd done a lot of cross country and I loved the thrill of cross country. And I was thinking, all right, how do I get to do this the whole time? Okay, I have to grin and bear, do a bit of dressage and a little bit of show jumping to get out and have fun with cross country. But one thing I noticed and I really liked about the eventing was that it was a real sense of that community. You pulled up in the Lurry Park beside each other, with your horse box, whatever, and you're chatting to the person beside you. And they could be from the other end of the country, and you'll have a great conversation. And we'll always, talk about your horse and talk about that. But if you ever forget anything or you ever needed anything, the person beside you was always willing to help you and go, well, you can borrow mine, or here you go. You know, and I've done it. Horse broke two bridles one day on me. One standing at the lorry, he got caught and broke it. Another time, it just broke. And then I was like, oh no, I've no bridle. And then we have someone beside me goes, oh, I'll be finished now in a minute. You can have mine. Like, and I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh.
And that sense of community, that sense of wanting to help one another, like, is really there with eventing, I find. So there's something that really drew me in that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love that. Like that you can just help someone out. Like it doesn't take much.
Cost nothing to be kind to one another. And we're all just kind of drifting through here, and nobody will ever be bigger than their station. And that's the way I kind of always look at it. And I'm the same. If I'm able to help somebody, I will always help them, no matter what it is. I'll always try my best. And you know, the same if I'm out eventing or I'm anywhere. If someone ever come up to me and goes, "Oh, could I borrow something? If I can do it for you, 100%, yeah, no problem at all. The only thing I probably won't let you borrow is my horse."
Fair.
No, well, that's just for a fear thing. Unless you're going to sign a waiver to say anything that happens from here on out is your fault, has nothing got to do with me, then you can take them. But otherwise, no, you're not getting them.
Yeah, I was thinking it wasn't a case of I won't lend them in case you hurt my horse. It's more in case my horse will hurt you.
Yes, I know how my horse has hurt me, so I'm not going to let that happen to you.
That's class. So what kind of like changes would you like to see as well in the industry?
I like more inclusion, and I'd like for us to open up our doors a little bit more to what we actually do and let people understand what the equine world is, because it's a fantastic world to be involved in. There's some fantastic people in it, so many kind and genuine people that do so much just for pure love of horses. I'd love for the outside world to see it, and that was one of my hopes with the Rider Academy, was to see how these five amateurs give up so much time for the love of their horses. Like, you look at all the horses that came down to Slade Duff, they were immaculate. You
Mm,
know, like them horses don't be immaculate just by standing in field. They,
no.
they will go and they will look like a bog pony very, very quickly, very easily if you leave them out for a couple of weeks. To have the horses to look and
Leave
to
them
be
out for a couple of
presented.
weeks, leave them out for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine, like, even just like Megan Norton's horse, like pure grey? Imagine leaving him out, no rug on him for 10 minutes in the field. He'd
No,
be,
this is why I'll never own a grey.
oh, you're gonna have to get a grey. Grey's
No,
brilliant.
no, no. Like I was looking at Sam the other day, who is black, and I was like, your whole face, this side and this side is covered. I don't even need to clean him anymore. And I was like, how did you even manage that? Like he
Yeah.
has a rug on, but then he's just managed to get the one part of his body that's not covered and just gone whoop, through the mud.
Yeah. No, my one I find the funniest is they right on top of their back, how do you get muck up there and yet they're rubbed. Don't know how to do it. But look, they're special cases at the best of times.
They have talents, and a lot of the time they're not useful talents.
Yeah.
Like if you imagine you apply this ability of getting mud on the center of your back to paying attention when I ask you to do something.
Yeah. You'd be riding in the Olympics every time.
Yeah. Is there anything that you have noticed over the years that has changed in the industry, for better or
Uh,
for worse?
I think there's been a lot of changes. Like social media has brought a lot of changes to the industry, and they've brought some amazing changes, and they've also brought some negative parts of it. Like but you know, you look upon it like years ago, everybody would have watched everybody's round, and everybody could tell you exactly how it was because nobody was standing there just scrolling on a phone or not really paying attention. To me, that's kind of the negative part that to have. But then you look at the the positive side of what it's brought. Like you have the Grassroots Gazette. Without social media, you wouldn't have had that. You wouldn't have had the Riders Academy. You wouldn't have this community that's been starting to be built here in Ireland, and it's going as far as the UK and Australia and America now at the moment. None of that would have been happening without social media and the positive sides of it. And you can see so many people connecting, friends being made, and this kind of this network of people getting to know one another through social media and through that. So there's so many positives that outweigh it. Like
Yeah, I get you. Is there any advice you'd have for someone who's like a young amateur rider?
enjoy it, enjoy every minute of it because it's for love and for that's all it's about really. Just take your good days, enjoy your good days, give yourself praise when you do have them. The bad days, they will pass. We all have them from the top end right down. They all have their bad days, off days. Don't beat yourself up about it when it doesn't go to plan, because every time you have a good plan, a horse will always change it for you no matter what. And enjoy it. As I said, best thing to do is just enjoy it, and smile while you're doing it, because it's something that I always say that you don't know when that you're not going to be able to do it anymore. So just enjoy that bit.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm.
How do you like, is that how you would deal with, any bad days or?
Yeah, that's something I kind of had to work on myself, is to understand that you know there is bad days, and not to get too wound up or too annoyed about it, like, because it can happen, and it does happen, and it probably happens more times than it shouldn't. So I remember maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, was kind of the first event out after COVID, and kind of rushed myself and my horse to get out to try events. Went out and done a nice dressage test. Show jumping didn't go to plan at all. Probably should have withdrew after show jumping, but didn't without and then went out in the cross country, and I think got to fence five maybe, and we took the fence wrong, hit the fence, and had a little bit of a rotational, and he came down across me, and then remember I was coming home. It was out a wet, dreary day, and I'm soaking driving home from the backhand of nowhere, wet, cold, sore, and I'm sitting in the truck like, and my dad sitting beside me, and he goes, "That didn't really go to plan, did it?" I just kind of laughed about it. Like it don't get it annoyed me, but like kind of laughed about it afterwards. Going, it's probably right. Like it just didn't go to plan. Like just move on. Like go. You can't go back. Like.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. It might have been your dad acting the bollocks a bit, but it does kind of break the tension.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And like, don't get me wrong. I was the pride is annoying, pride's hurt. You're piddled off with yourself because it's happened, and all the things that come into it, and you just want the ground to swallow you up and take you home, and go home, lie down in the dark room and forget about it. But like, yeah, it kind of did kind of break it, and there's something like even. I remember it was a lesson I had with Joseph a while ago, and show jumping wouldn't be my strongest point now at the moment, and which it would have been years ago as a kid. I would have been kind of competitive enough with show jumping. I say you knock a pole like when you're in your round, like it could be three fences on, and I'm still bloody thinking of that one pole I knocked, and that might cause me then to knock the next one, or one after. And he was like, "You've knocked the pole. You can't pick it up. Gone. Forget about it. Move on. You go to think about the next fence, and the one after that, and one after that. Don't be thinking about the one that was three fences over, because your course is going to be over fairly soon. Like,
Yeah.
so they're all the kind of things that I try to think of.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I was just thinking back now, way back when I competed. Um, I was like, yeah, I'll be fuming.
Yeah, you do be.
Yeah. And you should just ride on because like, there's already one down, like it doesn't matter anymore at this point, does it?
No, and it's so true. You cannot pick it back up.
Mm.
That's the best way to describe it. You can't pick it up.
Yeah.
So.
Very good. Have you any plans for the coming year? This can be
I
both with the grassroots and with your horse.
I've so many ideas and so many plans I'd love to do. Getting the physical time to do everything is the will be the balance of it all. And then, I've Charlie's coming up and he's, riding that little bit more and he wants to compete that little bit more. So I'm kind of in two minds. What do I do? Do I focus to let him kind of compete now? And if he goes competing, then I might have to take a little step back from what I do with my horse to allow him to compete. So it's just trying to find the balance of that. I would love to get a couple of events in this year. Not going to put too much pressure on myself and my horse. Because I've done it in the past and it has gone to plan and kind of affects both our confidence. So take our time with that. See and hopefully do maybe 4 or 5 events over the years for the season with plans, and then the Grassroots Gazette, then the big plans will all start to come to fruition in the next couple of weeks when we start announcing dates for things coming up. And I'd like to get out to more events. I'd like to kind of uh, build that side of the Gazette again. The more kind of meeting the community and doing more for them and seeing how we can champion them that little bit more and do things like that and grow the podcast and grow live streams and just spin a few plates and try to keep them all spinning is the big thing.
Run, run, run.
Yeah.
So you're an amateur equestrian. You're already deadly to spinning multiple plates.
Yeah. Look, that's all you can do is just try your best. A couple of them will break along the way. So just when they break and move on to the next one.
Yeah, and like for any kind of amateur equestrians out there who would like to maybe like get involved with the grassroots or like the grassroots set, sorry, or like anything like that, what is the best way for them to get in contact?
Definitely reach out to us on our social media. Like we're all over social media, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or I know the kids are on TikTok. I wouldn't be one for TikTok, but yeah, look, reach out to us, and we will reply. We get a lot of messages every day, and you try to reply to everybody, but we would do reply to everybody. We do come back to everybody, and if it's something you want to do, like you have nothing to lose by reaching out to us and everything to gain when you do. So definitely do it. It's an amazing organization to be involved with some amazing people, and you'll learn so much and you'll grow yourself, you'll grow your mindset, you'll grow everything about yourself. So it's good.
Yeah, like and just that one message could lead to you being, host of a show with 3 million views on YouTube.
Very easily, yeah, it could be, we could if we and imagine if we got like a good male host into it, like it would have been amazing then.
I know I'm still holding on to that cap I have signed by you because I know it's gonna be worth money soon.
Yeah, or you could just force the signature, get away with
Yeah,
murder.
I'll start practicing and I'll just sell them
Yeah,
on eBay and
yeah,
Mary will be like, what?
yeah. Oh, some knockoff counterfeit gear.
Yep. Grassroots not even spelled right.
Yeah. Then you know it was me.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that is pretty much everything I have to ask you. However, I do have one question to ask everyone at the end of the podcast, and that is, what is the best advice that you've ever been given?
Oh, nobody's watching.
I like
Doesn't
that.
matter. Nobody's watching, And I think, especially with social media and with the whole kind of Rider Academy and all that side of it and all that. So nobody's watching you. No one really. You're too, everybody else is too busy in their life to worry about what you do. So just keep doing you.
I love that. That is brilliant.
Mm. See, I can't be sensible at times, can't I?
A rare moment. We need to frame this. How can you frame it? Frame audio.
Look, it's good for me to be that way at times.
But it does take a lot of time to kind of like to realize that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it is. It's something that I know myself. Doing the Rider Academy, and then when you go out and you're not. I don't know what the best way to describe it without sounding like a bloody dope or a nonce. Like, like when you do small little things and the little bit of getting noticed and things like that, and then it kind of like play in your head going, oh, just this or that, or because someone see me doing this, that, or the other. It's like 90% of people don't really care. These honestly don't care. They're all just so wrapped up in their own lives anyway. You know,
Mm.
you're just passing through and you're forgotten about, like, you know.
Mm.
That's
And
and
often the
that's
people who have to give you those opinions, you don't actually care about anyway.
yeah, look, everybody's going to be willing to give an opinion anyway. You know, I've had so many people, you know, that have reached out to me online to tell me how crap I am at this, or you know, you're not the right person to do that. Oh, so be it. That's your opinion, but I'm the one that's out doing it. You
Yeah.
know, all these people aren't. These aren't the ones that are putting themselves out there. I have, and
Yeah.
you know, I have great fun with it.
I like this.
Yeah,
Just they're
yeah.
saying screenshots of the responses.
Yeah, no, not that I just kind of kill them with kindness kind of thing, but I kind of have a little bit of fun. If someone like takes the time out to set up, which I've had, set up a fake profile to engage in a whole conversation with you, to to tell you how rubbish you are at something, or how you look, or how you sound, or this or that and the other. Like it's quite flattering when you think about it that they took the time to do all
Yeah.
these things just to have whatever they feel is a moment to get with to have at you. Like, and I find it so funny when you start like going back and like I've wrote back at times this if you want I will sign any pictures for you. You know, it's no problem. I do personal meet and greets if you like and stuff like that. Like, and they really then just lose their crap and they tell you a few things and you're like, ah, I got you.
It's so
And
funny though, isn't it? Like that, like you just existing has made them so mad that they have to do this, and you're like, you'd like that says a lot more about them, I think, than you.
yeah, it does. As I said, it's just you have to laugh at it. Like, when you look at it, like, you know, I don't know. I know when I set up my Instagram page, probably took me about 15, 20 minutes to set up an Instagram page. I don't know how quick you can do it now, but like imagine having to do that just to actually then go search up somebody and then take the time out to write for them and then wait for them to respond back and then you respond back with something else. I'm going, you're little to do in your life, you know,
Like before
little to do in
you,
your
like
life.
I'd already lost interest with whoever's angered me by the time it came to setting up an Instagram profile.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's just amazing. But look, it's fun. Yeah, I'd have a bit of fun with it. But let them have their moments and let's think that they're kind of making a difference to whatever life they're making a difference to. But yeah.
That's all you can do. You're helping them out, really.
Yeah, no, look, I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you're having fun. They're having fun. Who knows?
Yeah, well, look, they're getting something out of it anyway, you know. At the end of the day, it's always nice to have fans. I always sign that off. From
Well,
Gary, always nice to have fans.
I love that. I'm actually buzzing for my next hater comment so I can do this.
Yeah, no, do. And it's so much fun. Because you can see you know why we do reply to you to get so annoyed.
Mm. Oh yeah.
So I always do it. Yeah, thank you so much. Always nice to have fans. Signed Gary.
Sound Gary. Brilliant. So I think we shall leave it a bit there. But where, if anyone is looking to find you, ideally not to give you abuse. Um,
Well, yeah, look, through Grassroots Gazette and you know, yeah, handles. See, I'm not all too savvy with all this Instagram stuff, which is the funny part of it all. So I know I'm on Instagram and it's Gar underscore man, I think. A
dot
man or
one,
something.
I think.
A dot is it? I see you know more than me, but yeah, that'd be the kind of where you'd find me is kind of Instagram. Um,
You'll see them all over at the Grassroots Gazette on Instagram anyway.
yeah, that's where it goes. Go to the Grassroots Gazette, and at some point I'm tagged in something, and that's where you can go to. And look, if you want to come along and abuse me for a bit of crack, just do it for a bit of fun.
And you can always send them lovely messages too.
Yeah, look, I've had one or two. One
Mm.
or two people are nice to me every now and again.
Yeah,
Granted, I
they just
probably
get really confused when that happens.
well, I probably paid them.
Bad luck. Glad
Just
we
so I
had
can,
somewhere.
so just gonna show everybody. I just go walk around, going, look at my phone. Someone was actually really nice to me, and they said you're really nice. Gary, that's your mom. But it still counts.
Yeah. My mummy has to love me, still counts.
At times.
Okay, and so with that, guys, I actually do know my Instagram handles. So you will find me on Instagram and TikTok. So TikTok, it's at Strong in the Saddle. Instagram, it's at Strong in the Saddle with an underscore because someone got to it first. And then my website is www.chrissyhawkins.com. So just want to say thank you for joining us again today, Gary.
Thank you very much for having me. It was great fun.
I really do appreciate everybody who listens to this podcast. So if you please could help me with the algorithm and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And even, if you want to reach out and suggest topics for me, I'd be delighted to hear from you. Drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. And thanks again for listening.